Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to people sitting at the back. Yeah, thank you. So, good afternoon once again. Good afternoon to all my panelists. Hi. So, today we have, yes, a tough job. Tough not because of the subject that we have. Tough because we are speaking about something which is very passionate to each of us. Here we have two issues. We are speaking about sustainability, but here sustainability is a word which is, I feel it's overrated, because sustainability is just one word. We can call it continual, we can call it viable, we can call it feasible, we can call it renewable, we can call it regeneration. There are so many more synonyms to it, and that's how one must feel. And why it's again tough is because viability, being continual, viable, renewable, is all to do with growth prospects. It is all to do with profitability. It's all to do with entrepreneurs. It's all to do with businesses. Here today, you will find, on this panel, you'll find corporate houses, you will find educationists, you'll find people dealing with entrepreneurs, art, health, parental, investment, everything. And there is just one thing that we're going to talk about, is how are we going to use this modium or this vacuum, what we call, of sustainability into our businesses, into our profit centers, into our growth prospects. So, let me start to just roll the topic and talk about, everybody knows about the Tata Group. Everybody knows that it's an ethical company. It speaks about its people. It talks about the planet. It talks about its own sustainable initiatives. And yet, it also concentrates on its growth. So I will just start with one example of how an entire township has taken on this module of profitability through sustainability. Each of us have been associated, and we've known rag pickers, right? Is there anybody in this audience or on this panel who does not know who a rag picker is? All of us know who rag pickers are, right? So what happened was, the Tata Group picked up rag pickers. They turned them into social entrepreneurs. How? We gave them their own Aadhaar card, we gave them their own training. So what happened was, these rag pickers became our ambassadors for the door-to-door waste collection, segregation, and profitability module. So what was actually a waste was turned into something that is sustainable. The entire township deals with it, because we pick up stuff from your home, go to the segregation centers, segregate them, take the waste, and then turn it into something else. So what happens? Landfills, we don't have, all of us know, right? We don't have much of landfills. So our landfills, land is taken care of, your waste is taken care of. People who do not get jobs are rag pickers, they get a social standing, so that is taken care of, and your town looks nice green. So that is just one module of how a corporate house has taken up a small module and has turned it into a much more greener economy. Now, I'm going to turn this table to, I have heard from Urjesha when we were creating our panels and talking about, she spoke about something to do with a mangrove. So I was really intrigued to know, how did you turn this mangrove into an investment of your own? Urjesha, please.
Hello. Yeah, so in my personal experience, I've worked with this organization wherein we were doing this zero discharge system, not mangroves, but they were big water treatment plants. And you know, sustainability is not just about saving the planet. It is actually saving ourselves from ourselves to keep the natural resources intact for a better use for the future generations. And these water treatment systems, in fact, all of us have got an RO in our homes, which treats the water, and then it throws away about 70% of the input water that gets into the system. So that's a huge wastage, right? In our systems, what we designed is a circular system, which is like whatever water goes in, the same amount of water is discharged from the systems. And well, it took a lot of designing and a lot of cost, but creating a system that was sustainable was one of our priority. It was a priority of the government, it was a priority of firms like us, and also the citizens of, it was the project in north of Nadia, so all the people of Nadia also embraced sustainability. So,
is it something to do with a zero liquid discharge system?
Yes, yes, it's a zero liquid discharge systems, and now sustainability does not end there. Sustainability has also to do with corporate social responsibility, inclusive capitalism, and a lot of topics which are intertwined, as she was saying. And the second part of the project was to go to these individual homes and teach the citizens how to not waste water. So we put in this water calculative systems or some remotes, and they could see how much water they were using. And the third phase of the project was actually to collect money from the citizens and give them a healthy lifestyle which would make their children more healthy and they would not miss their classes in their education system. So this is a circular economy that what goes round comes round, and this is how we ensured sustainability.
That's lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we have, you heard about zero liquid discharge. I would also want to know from Samir. Samir, please speak about, you know, we all have so many examples to give, and we have so many business modules, whether it's an entrepreneur or a corporate house or a business. So can you give me one good practice, one best practice that you feel maybe already done or maybe just on the way or maybe it's just a thought process, but something that can help all of us to kind of pick up, maybe deliberate on it, or something which is good for you can be good for me as well. So can you just share something on this?
Sure, sure. So very good afternoon to everybody. Be it corporate or non-corporate, in fact, I'm coming from an organization called Vihan, which is a not-for-profit organization which works in the area of anti-human trafficking, where we rescue survivors of human trafficking and those who are sexually exploited. We work to rehabilitate them and reintegrate them. According to me, flexibility is the key to sustainability. As an organization, be it a for-profit or not-for-profit, if we are very hard-coded in terms of what we need to do and are not flexible, maybe the changing environment may not sustain us. So that's one. Just an example of how we have navigated the changing environment in the development sector to be sustainable. One is that since our core was rescuing, we found that post-rescuing, once the girls are in the shelter home, once they come out, they are still vulnerable and re-trafficking again happens. So we've reached out within the shelter homes to offer skilling programs to survivors of human trafficking, where now survivors are coming out with an offer letter of 11 to 15,000 per month in their hand. That is sustaining them, preventing the re-trafficking so that we don't spend a lot of resources there. So that's one. Taking it a little further, we've also gone to the remote locations where trafficking happens, looking at girls who have dropped out from classes 7 to class 10 to ensure that they come into our learning centers and go back into the school so that traffickers don't start preying on them. This helps make the community sustainable, and we as an organization, we then save resources to prevent rather than cure this crime.
Thank you, Samir. So, you know, what we were just talking about is, it is not, sustainability is just not about waste. It's about how you're using people, how you're using the resources that you have in hand, and to ensure that you keep them continual, being viable, and they do not die out in time. So that is what this group is going to be talking about. Shailesh, let us hear your thoughts about this.
Hi, my name is Sailesh Ganeriwala. Thank you so much. I am very grateful to be a part of this panel. Sustainability is very different for everyone, and what I see sustainability is definitely a big opportunity. And this opportunity came to me 6 years back. I was sitting, I started off with one of the first breweries in Kolkata called Raise the Bar in Sector 5. And I was having my sip of beer. And then instantly it struck that what am I doing? Is this a sustainable business that I am actually doing? So your thoughts change. And a great man has in fact told me, and he was mentoring me, and he says, first your thoughts change, then your actions change, and then only the results will change. So whether actually only by changing your thoughts will not make you sustainable. You have to do action on that. And that led us to do our work with OGM, and that what we are doing with the past 6 years. So I'll give you a very brief about what we are doing with OGM. Every year around 4 billion trees are cut down for paper making. We all know, and this is around 37% of the cause for deforestation problem. Whereas the same things can be done with plant-based alternatives. We have many crops. We work on specifically a crop which we generally know as bhang, as a negative word, or cannabis. But the stalk of the plant is very useful and can be converted into paper making, as it gives maximum amount of cellulose, is the strongest natural fiber found on earth. So we found a way, I shifted and sold that brewery and started working with OGM. We traveled to various parts of Europe and learned about how things can be actually meant and what are the alternative options. What are the innovative materials that we can use? There needs to be an innovative material, there needs to be an innovative process, and there needs to become into an innovative company. So we tried to collaborate with different co-founders, work together, blended everything, and now we are successfully exporting our plant-based alternative paper products to more than 25 countries. So this is what we are proud of, and I think sustainability starts with action. Only thoughts will not change anything. You need to go on the ground, do your part of action, whether by wearing sustainable, whether by choosing sustainable. The choice is yours. Everything is kept. If you go to the market, you have a 200 rupees product. You even have a 400 rupee product. If you are resourceful, and if I'll obviously tell you to go for a 400 rupees product, which is a sustainable one. Because if you are resourceful, you have to lead the way. Then other people will follow. At least make your choices sustainable, then your actions will be, and then I am sure results will change. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailesh. So, he spoke so beautifully about the environment and how he used something, because whenever we use the word brewery, something else comes into our mind. And how he has taken this and made it more viable, made it so sustainable, and the entire thought process has changed from a brewery to something that has actually can be used in the environment, right? Shailesh, am I okay?
Yes, actually these plant-based fibers have many applications, and to achieve mostly those goals, we need to shift, just like we have opted from plastics to other sustainable options.
So the mantra is actually the applications. The mantra is on how we can use different things for different purposes. Right? Just a quick share, since he already spoke about how we are using the environment. It is so important for us to have this bhagidari system. It is saying that, okay, sustainable environment, sustainable this, sustainable that, doesn't work. You have to be responsible. If it is your responsibility, it is my responsibility too. So that is how I will just take just a few seconds to share something so important with you. Way back in our company is something what is a municipal company does. We deal with water, we deal with power, we deal with municipal services. We deal with everything that a municipality does, but we look after the entire township, but we do not have the administration control. So, everybody's responsibility becomes nobody's responsibility. We started a system called Zimmedar Nagrik, Zimmedar Sheher. This was way back in 2013. That is July 2013, and Swachh Bharat came into its existence in October 2014. So let me just quickly tell you what the Zimmedar Nagrik, Zimmedar Sheher is all about. It is, dude, I being the municipal body, I'm doing my responsibility of cleaning your dustbins. But you as a citizen have to take the responsibility of putting that waste into that dustbin. You cannot leave the litter on the roads. You cannot put it in the stream into the river. It is your responsibility. So the Zimmedar Nagrik, Zimmedar Sheher, which everybody can adopt here, is that it is my responsibility. It is our planet. It is sustainability starts here, with me, within me. It does not start with, pointing the fingers. The pointing the fingers happens here. So with this thought, I will speak to Arnab. Arnab came to me, when we were speaking to each other. He spoke about what he's doing as a research about parenting values, right, Arnab? Yeah. And then he spoke to me about something that, this parent-children syndrome, and then how he has used his research and made it into a sustainable thought was something I think can intrigue all of us. So, Arnab, please.
Thanks, Sukanya, for bringing it in, and a very good afternoon to all of you, and thanks for having me here. And interestingly, what led us to this is very interesting. So I had not been into the parenting thing first. I am a trained consultant. I had been working maybe more than a decade with one of the largest consulting firms across the world. And when we had been working with a lot of government organizations when they are implementing their products. And one of the interesting aspects was when the Swachh Bharat campaign came in, how the government organizations were entrusted with building toilets. An interesting observation that we made was many places the toilets were built, so the intent was there, the action was there. Unfortunately, when the reviews were being done, we came out and found out that the toilets were being used to store the harvest and not for the purpose it was built. And it then came up to us that yes, there has to be a lot of intent, there has to be a lot of action. But at the same time, what we are lacking here is we are not training people to use it, why it has been made, what is the importance of doing that. And that's why when we actually map it back to the UN Sustainable Development Goals and where we are standing right now, it has been said that into 2022, 946 million people are doing open defecation. So from this and a lot of other aspects, it came in, there were a lot of advertisements that were happening which say that even comes up and tells that if you are not studying, you will become a janitor, showcasing that. But that janitor also has a dignity of labor, and what work he is doing is also very important. And as a parent, as a social aspect of it, we are completely missing those angles. And then we started researching on that. And from that, we came to know that yes, for the sustainable initiatives to grow and all, you need to definitely do at a rapid pace. A lot of innovations are happening. Yes, we are moving on from traditional strategic movements towards a circular economy where a lot of innovations are happening. But to do that, to take on the three pillars, the people, the planet, and as well as the profit, first of all, we need to look at our mindset. Are we actually looking into that aspect holistically? No. We are telling a lot of stories. We are perhaps scaring a lot of people. But at the same time, the thing should start right from the scratch, where we do not look at it as that we have to comply to certain standards, and that's why we are doing on sustainability. Rather, it becomes in our DNA that every time what we are doing, that is sustainable. And that's how our thought process, our mindset, if we can bring it up, a next generation, by 2030, it is supposed to be that India, being the youngest country, is going to be the leaders of the world. So it is not in our thought process. However sustainable initiatives we are going to take, that is not going to be sustainable. And that's where we came in, and that's how we are working, and it's doing wonders where we're seeing. In fact, I will just end up with one of the examples. One of our games we had introduced in the slums of Dharavi. And what had happened was, earlier, these children, in the evening time, they were actually going on, loitering around, spending time. They were into a lot of drug usage and substance usage. Now, after introduction of this game, what has happened is, they have actually slotted times, and they are willing to play that game rather than spending those time mindlessly. And in this game, we are actually introduced these behavioral aspects. We talk about planting is important, taking care is important. At the same time, mindless love is also not important. That's how we go on.
Wonderful. So let us hear it up for 2030 once upon. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. So we are on our way to 2030, right? So with this, I'll move on to Anne. And you know, we were just been talking about different aspects, different organizations, different companies. So what I would like to know from you is, you're of course from a completely different genre of industry. So how important is to leverage technology? Digitization seems to be the buzzword, okay? Technology and digitization into this viable energy, into this renewable, into this something which we want for generations to come, and we say, you know, we should leave this planet for our future, for the upcoming generation. So what is your thought process about this and your companies?
Thank you, Sukanya. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Anindita. I am from Narayana Health. I think the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk about Narayana Health is sustainability, because our basic mission statement states that we are to provide affordable and accessible healthcare for all. And the last few years, starting 2020, the global pandemic has shown us enough that unless and until a strong digital presence is there in the business, things whatever activities that you are doing may not be viable in the future, because there needs to be a continuation, as you were saying. So yes, of course, for us, sustainability, as I say, is the outreach program that we have, wherein we are basically, kind of building the future doctors. Our basic program in West Bengal and Karnataka is basically to handhold promising youngsters who are good in their in the field of education, and handholding them till the time they pass off their MBBS, so as to make the future churning of the doctors and the paramedical staff that is so much required. We saw this during the global pandemic because of the shortage of manpower and the shortage of hospitals. There was what havoc it actually created. So this is one thing. And then in my day-to-day activity, which is basically to support patients who are suffering from life-threatening ailments like cancer and cardiac diseases, to basically support those marginalized patients who do not have treatment finances. So basically there again, there is a lot of talk about not only developing financial channels for these patients, but also making channels for the families who are kind of suffering for them, to basically kind of develop livelihood for them, so that they can as well, even if when the person who is suffering, if the person suffering from cancer is the sole earning member of the family, if he is not there, then at least the family will survive. So all these things had kind of come up, and I think for us, for people working in CSR, a lot of concerted efforts have to be made. I feel that interconnections between the organizations, whether it's corporate, whether it's non-profit, is one of the missing links in India, because that is where India is actually kind of having a lot of issues. We have we have several NGOs working in the same site, working on the same kind of maybe doing similar activity, but they don't have any kind of cohort, either sharing the cohort communities, nothing, there is no interchange of knowledge, there is no interchange of best practices, there is no interchange of even leads when it comes to CSR. So I think a lot of interconnections and interlinks have to be made so as to make the world sustainable. And for India, it is of course it is required, because it's such a huge country and it's a big subcontinent. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. That's a lovely thought of process, especially somebody coming from the healthcare field, where we think that okay, sustainability ka healthcare se kya lena dena, but no, here we have someone who can link sustainability and healthcare all together. So it's all the basic question remains of how you can link all these chains together, and then you can see your own growth prospect. Moving on to Suniti. I mean, she's my senior. She's has been with the Tata Group. Now she is an entrepreneur, right? She's an entrepreneur now. And I would like to know from her, since she's had so many years with an organization and an entrepreneur here. So how would you see about changing the mindset of people? Throughout organizations, whether it's employees, whether it's co-workers, citizens, people who you're working with. Okay, how can you change the mindset of the people to ensure profitability? Because that's the key word, right? We are all working for growth. We are all working for profitability. We are all working for gains.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really privileged to be here. Thank you for calling me. And okay, I'm Suniti Khastigir. I wear 3 hats. I have a little advisory company called Aksi Consultancy. Aksi means in Sanskrit eye, which gives Iksha, vision. And Art Khastigir is with my name, a little bit of megalomania. And also I do a lot of volunteering. I'm part of the Crafts Council of West Bengal and also the president of West Bengal's Federation of Deaf Women. So I work with specially abled people. So I will say that I'm in my second innings. I'm 61 years old, so a retired second innings person. But I have to go back to that actually my grooming of sustainability, volunteering, has been because of my Tata grooming. But I was thinking of Tata's, but when I heard about his hemp, my first job was Triveni Tissues, where actually I learned sustainability, where we actually developed papers out of bagasse and not cutting down trees. So about 70% of our papers, which were specialty papers, we used to make out of bagasse and jute. So suddenly he reminded me that actually it was more, before even Tata's, it was ITC, Triveni Tissues also taught me sustainability. But with Tata Steel, I was with part of tubes and other divisions, and it was something which actually was led by Mr. Tata himself, which is leading by example. And that's where he led by example. And our leaders did. And the ESG part, which was in that, is the social and governance part is very important. That is where actually, if you can handle the social and the governance part, automatically the environment benefits. And that is where the challenge is. And these 3 pillars of social, environment, social, and governance, the critical link is ethical practices. That how do you link this through ethical practices? It is so easy, like many of us have done ISO, it is so easy to make it a tick, that okay, I've complied. Which is when it is top down, that's when you are sometimes forced to compliance. But when it is bottom up and leading by example, it becomes a way of life. And this is what is where, as a Tata person, I still call myself a Tata person because it's my upbringing and I'm a pensioner of that, is that it taught us that whatever you're doing at office, you do it at home. So it is like, how many of us actually have put the tap off when we brush our teeth? How many of us actually, even though all of us might be having bathtubs and showers, how many actually have a bath with a bucket? How many of us, okay, we all love silk saris. How many of us are wearing hand-woven and ahimsa silk? Yes, we've inherited, but from the day we get aware of it, how do we take the next step? So when I do my consulting, which is most of it is with a challenging group, which is the MSMEs and in the unorganized sector, where it is the trading community who wants to sweat their assets. So there you have to train them into corporatizing. And that's when you set up policies and processes. So to teach them that actually for them it is, sustainability is a cost for us. It will reduce our profitability. But that's where the challenge is of changing the mindset. That actually green gets you green bucks in the long run, and it will be causing you envy from the others that you are doing well. Because it is not just the bottom line of profitability, it's the employee health. It is the moment then the health cost goes down. Then actually the employee engagement goes up, the employee performance goes up, because the moment it is the health of the community you're working with, health of your supply chain, be it your supply chain, your vendors. So when you do your CSR activities, you work on a holistic manner that keep this in mind, and that is how I try to, and with my specially abled, and when I work at the village level, I realize it's the seniors who actually know, because our grandparents and parents, the previous generation, there was no plastic. They used to use cow dung, they used to use mud things. So, but the younger ones, it's fashionable to use plastic and, you know, all these kind of a thing. So then it is the best ways to ask. If I say, bolega mem saab city se aake sikha rahe hai. So you work towards the seniors to drive them, because they will listen. Even when I was in Tata Pipes as a brand manager, when I did a Save Water, Save Life campaign, the campaign we did not use our big bosses saying that save water, save life. We got an employee or a worker's grandmother, that poster, beta pani save karo. So they linked to it that wo to hai, Raju ka dadi ma bol raha hai. They listen to her, then the boss lady or boss ne bol raha hai. So, you know, so we are trying to train people, saying that it is each and every one of us role. Remember, Times of India had that Teach India campaign. So if we can also work on individual level of Teach India, then it has a multiplier effect. And what I'm trying to put into my the smaller corporate clients is that your CSR has to be sustainable related CSR.
So
Thank
that's
you.
how it starts
So
at
it's
the
changing the mindset
grassroots
and coming
level.
up from the grassroots level.
Great. Thank you. Prashant, when we were sitting there back at the table, I heard a few comments from you, and I was really intrigued by it. He said, it's a sustainable word, and it is actually overused. And I was really taken aback by that, and it's actually overused. So I want to know from him, why did that thought come? We all know, we all have our own thoughts about why is it overused. But I want to know from him, why did he use this sentence? Why is it overused, and why coming from him? And how would you unuse this overused and make it into a profitability?
Thank you, Sukanya. And all my esteemed colleagues and the tomorrow who is waiting here at the back row. Why I am telling overused? Because it is a simple term. We have made it complex. The forest economy life started with forest economy to agricultural economy to industry economy to service economy. Now it is artificial intelligence and whatever. The civilization has changed with the scales. Forest economy was very simple. The forest was regenerating by itself, nobody was making it. There was no thought about sustainability. When the agricultural economy came, the forest got, because there is no time, I know her pressure, so that's why I'm telling. So there was, the cutting of forest started with agriculture. Many may be knowing, because the magic of seed came. There the sustainability started to be questioned. But then, agriculture had its own limits, because agriculture was also regenerating. Because think of whoever is from agriculture background, very few are from, but who are from, there is a seed and there is a waste, and waste is never wasted. The point is, when she was talking of rags, I was only thinking, what is a rag? Everything is a resource. There is nothing called rag. What you think is waste is actually wasted. So for me, sustainability is tomorrow. It is a very simple term for me. When I sleep, I pray God, tomorrow I am waking up because there is a sun coming again. If that is the hope that there is a sun coming tomorrow, then the life lasts. Whether it belongs to me or to my son or to my grandson or to my family or to neighbor or to my mother planet. If I am waking up and the sun is there, but what is that making tomorrow is the today. If I am making justice to my today, then tomorrow will come. Do I respect whatever resources I have been given by God? I'll take 2 minutes to complete my this. Arjuna was told by, in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna told, Arjuna, don't confuse. Bhumi apa anala khang mati vayu buddhi evacha ahankara bhirna prartha bhirna prakriti nashtada. I have given you 5 elements. You know I don't have to elaborate, I don't have time. Which are the 5 elements? Bhumi, apa, khang. Apa means water, khang means sky. This day sky is also abused. You know, we are going to moon, then what, I don't know. So then, Bhumi, apa, anala, khang, vayu, all these 5 elements I have given you. But what I have given you is mati, buddhi, ahang. Use your mati and buddhi because these are all limited resources. Okay? But the moment you are having ahang, you are having the greed. Mahatma Gandhi, we have just passed Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. He has told that the world has everything to serve to everybody's need. But if one person is becoming greedy, greed is the real key of the question to sustainability is our greed. We want to have more and more, more and more, and more and more. It is not about geography. It is more water, more resources. I basically, I am heading the education, CSR, sustainability of a company, Jindal Steel and Power at the group level. I don't have to tell you that when the nation was starving for oxygen, one state has given 50% of oxygen to this country, that is Odisha. You must be knowing it. Jindal Steel and Power had converted 25% of its industrial oxygen to medical oxygen, and our people were working 24/7 so that all across India the oxygen was reaching. So development is mainly about the crisis management first now, conflict management, then our immediate threat management. And immediate threat is not virus. COVID has taught us that humanity has been caged by COVID. It has not affected trees, it has not affected animals, it has not affected anything else. It has affected those people who are threatening the nature. You know that. What is that? So point is, it is we who are destroying this. And that is why I am telling, the moment that people are talking of CSR, people are talking of sustainability, for me it is tomorrow, and tomorrow with what? Tomorrow with more equitability. Tomorrow with more inclusiveness. Tomorrow with sabhi school bacche jaye. Koi bhuka na rahe. The main thing is that. And today, when people are moving outside, I was asking, why don't you come inside? Somebody told me very honestly, I don't feel connected. Are we sustainable? Are we talking in that language which he wants to listen? Number one. Number two, are we really, the people who are sitting here, they're very conscious. They're carrying the jute bags, they're carrying all those biodegradable. I'm not getting into that. But point is, are you really thinking of that microns of polythenes which the other man is using in the street, and for him it is very usable. When he's carrying a 10 rupees wala grocery, for him that less than 0.3 micron polythene is really handy and really economic, which the cow will eat and die, and the drainage line will be choked and everything. But that is usable for him. Are we thinking of him? That inclusiveness. So friends, I'm not really going into the details of what we are doing, but let me tell you, this is one company, Steel and Power. I don't have to tell you the need of steel and power, right from your kitchen to the Chandrayaan, wherever steel is required. And talking of renewable energy, everything is fine. But think of 140 crore population, 35 crore household. The energy need of 35 crore of people, the transport industries, whatever. Can you wish away coal? My point is this. This is one company I can tell, the world's first company in the world to think up to use the syngas. That means the gas coming out of coal, not coal. When everybody is using blast furnace, we are using the CGP, coal gasification plant. That is why my sustainability thinking starts, that we are thinking of the tomorrow, which is making gas out of the coal, putting in the DRI and making the steel. Right from the Biror children who are dying, because there is extinct race, to the COVID management and the thousands of children who have been orphaned by COVID, we have made them, Jindal children home for them everywhere. And the 8 lakh girls have come out of anemia because we are not thinking of the mother alone. We are thinking of the future mothers, and they are anemic. Their hemoglobin level is below 8. So we are starting from the age of 9. by pricking them and getting the this thing and taking to a different level. So our only thinking is that tomorrow, if tomorrow comes, we exist. During our teenage, many of them has read Irving Wallace, if tomorrow comes. I am here to tell you, yes, tomorrow will come if I preserve my today. So please think beyond your tomorrow. What is that? Beyond your 3 dimensions, reuse, recycle and reduce. I have added 2 words. Please take it seriously. Everybody is talking of 3. I have added 2 more words. One is repair. If we put all these mobile phones together, this will cross the height of Everest. Are we able to use a telephone which can be repaired? Use a TV set which can be repaired. Use a micro oven which can be repaired. We have come to a paradigm, everything will be thrown away because of one country is dictating that throw away, then buy mine. You know that country. So that is the main thing. We are not thinking of repair these days. Not even a suit, not even a watch, not even this thing. Let us think of that another art, repair. And fourth is what Sukanya was telling, racks. Rethink. If we rethink that these resources are not waste. These are wasted because today's waste is tomorrow's resource. That is making my tomorrow. It is right from my children to the artificial intelligence, to the digital device, to whatever we are talking because the planet has to live. Jindagi Zindabad. If Jindagi has to be Jindabad, then life has to be respected, right from an insect to a human being. That is a sustainable thinking. Nobody should be left behind. If anybody has exposure to Bombay midnight, because though my Janmabhumi is Odisha, but my Karmabhumi is Maharashtra. If anybody who has stood in Churchgate, a railway station, at about 1 o'clock in the night, then you look at that counter clerk who is giving the ticket. He stand up. He sweats in that AC room because he wants to see everybody catches the last local train to Virar, which has 1:40, because if he is not catching that local train, he is staying in the Churchgate railway station. Tomorrow he has to work home at 7 o'clock. So nobody should be left behind. Everybody should reach home. That is that inclusiveness. That is that equitativeness what I am talking of. Thank you so much. And that is sustainability.
Thank you, Prashant. I think your enthusiasm and the way you spoke has woken up most of the people who were sleeping at the back, right? Am I right? Anybody else who needs to be woken up? So everybody has already woken up, and just to, I think we have overshot this session, so I'm not going to take too much of time. We still have to hear so many speak, so I would ask her to speak. No, it's not a problem at all. So we'll have a quick, your thoughts on the stage, so that all of us have put out our thoughts. So let's hear about your thoughts on what do you think about growth, what do you think about profitability, what do you think about, reaching out to the down to the layer below, as Prashant said, you have to reach down to come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Namaskar. And everybody has spoken so much, and I've been thank you so much for inviting me at such an esteemed panel. I won't take up too much time. I will just say that, as my esteemed speaker just said, that sustainability, climate change, these are very big words. It's basically small, common sense. Sense that, can I ask you all a question? Besides being human beings and each creating waste, do you know what we all have in common? Anyone? Anything? It's very simple. We are all survivors of COVID. So this is sustainability. We've survived that. So it is COVID that has made me, I'll just let you know, I don't, my take on sustainability is very different. It is a very B2C, I think like everything, sustainability starts at home. We brush our teeth at home. Besides being, a corporate person, I'm also a mother. And ultimately, it is the next generation. It's our kids we want to, see alive. So if this planet, we are going to the moon, but we are so stupid that we've forgotten about our own planet. We've forgotten if our children are fighting for drinking water and oxygen, isn't it us to be blamed? What are we giving back to them? You know, all this talk sitting in an AC room with so many lights and so much energy is being spent for the happiness and health of the next generation to come. Shall we survive it? I think I'll end it at that question because for you all of you to ponder. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Somini. Thank you so much. So I think all of us have actually, sat here and we have heard people speak about not only about their own passions, we've heard them speak about their own corporate houses, their own organizations, their entrepreneurs, their fields, and we understand that the most important question is to us, is to each of ourselves. We need to ask ourselves this question, is that how and what is our bit, what little bit that can we do to ensure that this big word of sustainability, this big word of being viable, being renewable, and also let's not forget, we need to profit from it. Kyunki agar hum badhenge nahi, to phir jag kahan jayega, right? So it is also important to know that you need to grow. All this thought process comes in, these are big words. Lekin at the end of the day, your own profit, your own marginability, your own growth is also important for you to be able to ensure that sustainability is actually discussed upon. So thank you so much for having us all here. And I hope, yes, I think we've overshot the time, but I hope that it has been an interesting session. Thank you so much.
Just one thing, I will compliment all the women who are present here, because right from my global exposure to the local exposure, I have not seen, only in Calcutta whenever I come, I really find empowered women who are really the change makers, who are thinking, who are changing this India. I'm really from the core of my heart, I'm grateful, and I'm just daring to quote Rabindranath Tagore, who has told that undoubtedly 50% of the, because Bengali, I do not know that, I can speak ektu, but like that, 50% of the women are 50% of the world are women, and rest 50% are because of women.
Wonderful. As it is said, that impossible is nothing.
I just want to end that now that we are here, we've been hearing a lot of stuff. So can we, when we leave this room, take a vow that we'll get into volunteering and at least try to build a, a multiplier effect, and try to do a little bit of sealing on desire and a bit of volunteering, that we can make our little baby steps of change. So can I have your commitment that some change, that I'll do something more after I leave this place? And that is my appeal to you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and request Sukanya to present mementos to your panelists, please.